Hang on, everybody. We got a cool show for you tonight. We'll be back in just a sec. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and all between. Jason, my brother, how you doing?
I'm great, man.
So let's bring on Metalhead Fred. He got it. He got us a great get today. We got the. I'll let him introduce, but as you guys know, Fred Bonanno also writes for MetalTemple.com, and he is the resident metalhead. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Fred Bonanno.
What's up, my rock and roll brothers? How are we tonight?
Good.
You guys are looking good.
Thank you. So let's introduce these gentlemen.
Yeah, well, tonight we have the pleasure of talking to four guitarists, four extremely talented guitarists from Geoff Tates' band Operation Mindcrime. Geoff, of course, everybody knows, is the former lead singer for Queensryche, and without a doubt deserves to be on the Mount Rushmore of heavy metal singers.
Absolutely.
Tate's currently on tour with his band, where they come to us tonight from Salt Lake City, where they're preparing for tonight's show. That's me and my wife with Geoff from a couple nights ago. So they're giving us a little time after sound check and before dinner. And we're going to find out a little bit about these shredders and their careers and their projects and what it's like performing with a metal icon. So please welcome James Brown, Dario Perante, Amare Altmaier, and Keelan Plummer.
What's up, gentlemen?
Hey, how you doing?
Dude, thank you so much for squeezing us in between sound check and a show. That's really cool, man.
Of course.
That's totally
Whatever. Yeah.
So how does it feel backing up the greatest heavy metal vocalist of all time?
Yeah, that's the best way to put it. Yeah. It's an honor to be sitting down and sharing the stage.
Oh my God. I mean, I can't even imagine,
Yeah, we still cannot believe it.
So how did that all happen? How did you wind up, each of you, playing with Geoff?
Let's start with Dario and go across.
Yeah.
How I met Geoff. This was. It's a very fantastic story because I started playing guitar because I loved Geoff's music. And I was 9 years old when I started to listen to Wilton and the Garmo, and I fell in love with their music, with Queensryche music. And basically, I started a band in Italy with a friend of mine, and we've always been labeled by the press like the spaghetti version of Queensryche because we were heavily influenced by Queensryche. And then in 2018, Geoff was invited to play a couple of shows in Europe, but he couldn't fly the rest of the guys of the band from America to Europe only for 2 shows because of the visa. And so we basically shared a promoter with Geoff, and his promoter said to Geoff, "Okay, I can give you the band," and we made the grade. Basically, Geoff was satisfied with the rehearsals, and so.
So how long did you have to prep?
For that gig, you mean?
Yeah.
We, something like 1 month, and we prepared the whole Mindcrime album. But honestly, we already knew the music because we always material. So.
And playing Operation Mindcrime from beginning to end, that's its own challenge within itself, much less learning.
Yeah, the most challenging thing is to play it in front of Geoff.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. He's slow walking behind you. Yeah, he's got a great stage presence, man. He just commands it,
Yeah.
He does that.
Unbelievable.
He's a gentleman, so he works hard to make you feel comfortable being there. That's the plus.
And to meet him, as you guys will attest to this, he's very soft-spoken, very quiet, but on stage he just commands, like Vince said, he commands the audience. He is the ultimate showman. And it's still to this day, and he's 60-something now, he still acts like a kid up there. He just commands the audience.
He does that. Yeah. I mean, he's got a little bit of, you say practice? Yeah, he's been in this for a couple of years. So.
Right. All right, so the next story on getting in on this band.
All right. Mine is kind of fun because I studied in Boston at Berklee College of Music.
Right.
Over there when I was about like 20 years old. And I started playing in local bands and stuff. And at some point, I had one of my great friends who graduated, needed some work. He was a sound engineer. So I got him to go on tour with some friends of mine in Power Glove. Then he went on tour with Betraying the Martyrs, a super heavy band from France, actually. Ended up making a bunch of stuff, and he toured with Angra, where he met Kieran, which is Geoff's old guitar player, and started working for Geoff like that, basically. And so about like a year and a half later, he contacted me to join the team. I was doing a bunch of lighting design back then. So I started working for Geoff like that, and for about 3 years until he asked me to play guitar for him. So that's pretty much it. Yeah.
That's great.
It's pretty fun.
So with each ask, were you guys like,
Kind of, yeah, to be fair. Yeah. It's pretty nuts, because I think I'm talking for everybody here, but I think we always wanted to make a living playing guitar,
Sure.
playing guitar, not being in the music industry, playing guitar. Because you can do a bunch of stuff, you can do studio work, but being on stage, playing guitar, making a living like that is something that is quite hard to do nowadays.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So that's a big help, a big push,
Right.
Yeah, I can't even imagine coming out now as a younger dude. Like, but I mean, the landscape's changed so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it must be hard. Yeah.
And like you said, it's real easy to get distracted. Like I went to become, I was going to be a touring singer, and then I went to school to become an audio engineer, wound up in television and film, and then doing, tour consultant stuff. But,
Yeah.
It can happen, just like a normal job, So I say, if you're going to do something, keep doing it and don't take anything outside it. It's going to suck at first, but man, once you get in it and it's going, there's nothing better,
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the next story of awesome introduction.
So I actually met Geoff through Mark Daly, who's another artist I play with. I think he was featured on this podcast.
Yeah, we had Mark.
Yeah, we had him on about 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
Geoff was on holidays in Ireland, in Cork in particular, and Mark invited me out to go for a couple of drinks with him. I had my acoustic guitar with me, and then Geoff. And we had like one too many pints of Guinness, and we were kind of jamming, just doing a lot of like boy covers, and we're just all just sitting around at a table, just having fun. And I decided at the end to jokingly say to Geoff, like, "Oh, if you ever need a guitar player, I'm available, to let me know." And then a year later, I wound up in the band. So yeah.
You never know, and it doesn't hurt to ask.
Exactly, that's the way I always see it. Like, the worst you could say is no. So,
right.
Yeah. So then, when James or Mark backs up Geoff, which he does on part of this tour, you're doing double duty.
Yeah. So myself
playing for both bands.
And Killian are doing double duties for that. So
Killian too, yeah.
We warm up the crowd, then we keep the show going with Geoff.
Nice.
That's cool. It's a family ordeal.
Yeah.
Oh, it really is.
Yeah,
absolutely.
That's awesome. Yeah, when you're on the road, you become a family anyway, but to actually make it so is even better.
Yeah.
Because you got to live inside each other's pockets, All right, so what? So next story.
Yeah, so I think I'm actually involved with the for a year. James texted me out of the blue one day. And it's a really funny story because the same day James texted me going, "Would you be interested in guitar teching?" The other band I was in back in Ireland were like, "Oh, so we're going to start winding down and we're going to stop performing." So I kind of come home in the space of 40 minutes. I go from, "Well, this is really good. I'm upset to wait, who?" So actually, we were flying to Salt Lake City last night. I'm flicking through my phone on the plane as you do. And I found a video from the old band, and I'm like, this year has been like just insane. So I started we did a couple of weeks in Belfast and Dublin, and the spring just gone. I was teching as well, and this time they were like, "Oh, would you be interested in going to the US as a tech?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure thing." And when I actually rang Geoff to say it, and he was like, "Great, delighted to have you. By the way, would you be interested in playing on stage with the Encores?" And I'm so happy it was not a video call because the stupidest grin came across my face, and I'm just like, "Yeah, it's great," and like ear to ear, like you can actually hear that right. Until the confirmation from like James, I text James being like, "I think this was safe. I may have, made it up," and he was like, "Nope, you're on team, you're on board." So it's been just crazy like that. Even yesterday, just scrolling through my phone, I find a video from my old band, and I'm like, the same day those guys were like, "So we're quitting." I get offered, to work with Geoff there. So it's just brilliant, amazing. It's really weird. I wish I'd made it up because it's such a good story, but it's God's honest truth. That is how it went down. It was like the wind over the door short, but it's just been so much fun. And these other three amazing guys. It is so much fun.
Thank you, sir.
So that's so you guys, so we have band members from Italy, Ireland, Scotland, and France. So before the tour happens, where do you guys meet? You guys come over to the States? Does Geoff and company come over?
So this time, it was actually Geoff's youngest daughter, Angel, was getting married in Ireland.
Oh, okay.
All of us were heading to the wedding, so everyone just flew in a couple of days beforehand.
Okay.
Days in Cork, then packed up everything, went to the wedding, and then we all flew over here to America. Then, So
Okay.
it made it a lot easier because, logistically speaking, with all of us being like from just different countries,
Right.
Yeah.
that could be a bit tedious,
Yeah, and I know Geoff's touring schedule is insane. You guys are on the road constantly.
Yeah.
And if you're not touring, you're with the Backstage Pass Travel, which we'll talk about later, which is Geoff's tours company.
Yeah.
I mean, it's got to be tough. I've been on that tour bus. It's not, a luxury hotel, but that's what you're doing for 300 days out of the year. It's a tough way to get around, but you guys, like Vince said earlier, your family, you do it, you get together, and it's a tough way to do it. But man, you're also seeing the world too, right? On top of that.
Yeah, that's one of the big bonuses as well. Like we get to travel to places we've never been before. But then it's our job, so we just do it, and we have fun when we do it as well. So
I think as well, especially on this run, the team has been so strong that I can't imagine doing it with anyone else. You're
Come on.
you're living
Signal loss here.
These are the pockets like living.
Oh no.
There's far worse ways of doing it, and this is it's by far just been so.
All right, sorry about that. We had must have had a solar flare, or the Martians messed with the signal. So let me ask you guys a question. So, what's the set? So, did you guys have to learn two different set lists because you go out and do Operation Mindcrime A to Z plus the rest of the songs, or?
No, so we were doing Operation Mindcrime. We've done it in June in UK. We're gonna do it in Europe in November. But right now we're doing the big rock show, so we have a little bit of songs that people are less familiar with than a bunch of hits,
Gotcha.
So,
all right.
We play for Geoff, and Geoff has a thing that he tells us, which is just learn all of my music, guys. So it's all right. Learning wise, it's actually all right. What was fun on this tour was actually figuring out the guitar parts because we have 3 guitars, but Killian shows up as well, so we have to, make everything work, and that was a lot of fun. Yeah. We had 2 days of rehearsal as well, so that wasn't much,
Yeah.
Right.
It's pretty all right actually.
So do you guys?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jason.
Oh, I was just going to ask now. When you guys are, working out, who's going to do what? I mean, do you guys take turns? Okay, I'm going to take the solo on spreading the disease tonight, and I mean, how do you figure out who's going to do what? I guess
we have a chat on WhatsApp, and basically, we know each other very well, or we starting to know each other very well.
Yeah.
So we know our strength, for example. And so if a solo is more naturally closer to the inclination of one of the players,
Mm-hmm.
that's when it
sense.
makes sense, And
Yeah.
it's a great team, I think, because we all share the same love for Jeff's music, but at the same time we have a slightly different background, and this is cool, and it shows on especially when in on the final jam of the show, we have different style as far as guitar players, and it's cool. It's the best thing.
Yeah, and I've seen Geoff more than any artist I've seen, and I go to a lot of concerts. I've seen Geoff with and without Queensryche a million times, and I don't believe I've ever seen him do another artist's song until the other night when I saw you guys, and your encore was "Welcome to the Machine" by Pink Floyd, and the four of you guys are up there just blowing the place away. You each did your little solo. How did that one come about that you guys did a Floyd song?
Well, Geoff actually recorded it in the past.
Yeah.
So it's just like, yo, guys, I would really like to do Welcome to the Machine. And we were trying to figure out a way to have like a lot of solos. We have a keyboard player, Bruno Sa, who was with us for a few weeks on this tour. He had a keyboard solo as well in it. Everybody would have a solo on that song, So we just talked about it, and we were like, all right, how we do it? How do we build, James is more like a blues guy, like a blues rock kind of dirty guy. This man right here, he's a shredder, all right? That guy is a shredder.
An old shredder, an old school shredder.
So, we've tried to make like a dynamics, something that builds up, and that was pretty natural, to be fair.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It sounded great. It was amazing.
Yeah, Geoff participated on Shine On You Crazy Diamond Parts 1 through 5, tribute album Still Wish You Were Here, a tribute to Pink Floyd in 2020.
Yes, with Steve Hackett on guitar. I'm a huge fan of
Oh, wow.
I wanted to mention it.
Yeah, then it was just announced, I guess, the other day that 2024 tour with Adrian Vandenberg.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's going to be a fun one.
That's going to be an amazing show.
Yeah, I just listened to Adrian's new record probably a week or two ago, and it's killer. I really dig it,
Nice. I actually didn't get a chance to check it out.
Yeah.
We're kind of busy,
Yeah.
but totally
Got a busy tour in the world. That's awesome. And with all the languages between you guys, who are the two that get to talk shit about the other ones in a funny way because they can't understand the other two? Like, there's got to be one. Okay.
Sure. Nobody understands Italian here, so they know French. We all speak English, thank God. So they can't do that. But he has all the opportunities for sure.
And you know what? There's not a better friend that a sign of a good friend is someone who gives you shit.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure, like in those low days, when the long days on the bus and you're traveling, man, that helps out a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I'm actually pretty bad with that as well, to be fair, right?
Now, is there a practical joker in the bunch?
I think everybody's super funny. Yeah. We all have our style, Killian is very funny. He's my favorite. His humor is just top notch. He's the best. Oh yeah, by far.
Right on.
We just got into weird moods for half the time. We just have to shut up.
Yeah. That's because I'm French, guys.
I'm French Canadian, so I
amazing.
Half of me.
Kind of understand.
But yeah.
So you guys are in Salt Lake City tonight, is that correct?
Yep.
Okay.
That's why they're not drinking.
Salt Lake.
Right?
That's why you're not drinking. No alcohol in Salt Lake City, right?
Yeah.
I think you'll get some.
Ixnay on the inking tray, Fred. That's Pig Latin for all you kids out there. We were once doing a commercial out in right outside of Salt Lake, Utah, And everyone joked, "Oh, you don't smoke or don't have any." I'm like, "Yeah." We're like, "What? Okay, whatever." Right? So there's 75 of us in the crew. When we came back that night, everyone who had cigarette butts and beer bottles each got a ticket for $150 for smoking, and then another 150 for drinking.
Wow.
Like 73 out of the 78 people got like $300. So we moved. The whole production moved to another hotel. We're like, dude, really?
I understand.
But yeah, so of course, no pints in Utah.
Yeah.
No bites.
Yeah.
We've been good actually on this tour.
Yeah.
That's something that is actually worth mentioning, I think. But we took a decision to scale down on the drinking.
Oh,
and
yeah.
on, it's been like maybe like 3-4 months now. We barely drink,
Wow.
We're just
Yeah.
getting adults, focus on being professional, the job. We do
Sure.
have a lot of fun, and
Sure.
every once in a while we drink a little bit, but
Yeah, it's so easy for it to get out of hand, especially in a situation where you guys are. Everyone's handing you a drink or wants to buy you one or what, and just
Yeah.
out of being nice, next thing you know, you're wobbling.
yeah, we
You know.
8 shots, 3 whiskeys, 5 beers.
Yeah, because it adds up, It
Yeah.
totally adds up. So that's good to hear. And that's another thing I've noticed too. Back when I was around a lot of bands and everything and doing that whole thing, everyone was hammered, and now I'm like impressed and like, it's kind of like an old uncle, like, going, "Oh, that's pretty cool." Everyone's like sober.
Oh
and,
yeah.
like, taking care of their control. They're looking at the long term.
Yeah,
Because back in the 80s, no one wanted
80s
to
and
do it for 30 years. They just wanted
80s and 90s were like the wild. Is the
yeah,
Wild West.
so now you guys know that you can go on 45, 50 years and it's not a problem.
yeah.
So longevity is a whole different thing now with especially with the way that everything's working now with the, tight tours and, that's got to be interesting. And if you guys are working on other tours when you're not playing, I mean, it's got to be nuts.
Yeah. My schedule for this
Yeah.
year alone was probably the craziest. I
Yeah.
think I spent 6 weeks at home in Ireland where I wasn't actually working. But then for like 3 of those weeks, I was still taking phone calls every day, organizing stuff.
Right.
So, yeah, with Mark Daly and the Ravens, I was reporting in El Paso for a few weeks. And then we're talking about a potential tour in December that I can't really give much details on at the moment. But if that happens, then that means yes, I'm supposed to have December off. I think I'll have like a couple of days off for Christmas, and then
Right.
work then
Right.
January. Yeah.
So do you practice every day when you're not like doing sound check or playing? Do you practice still every day, guys? Like
Well,
do
the
you work
four
on
of us,
certain
we
things?
are guitar nerds.
What's that?
We are all guitar nerds. So
Oh yeah.
we almost every day we take guitar and practice the scales, work
Right.
live, and sometimes like Henry was working also on his music,
Yeah.
after sound check, and yes, but basically we're
playing a lot.
Yeah,
for sure.
we love
These
it.
guys more than me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joe Bonamassa just did something at Crossroads where he did a tribute to Jeff Beck with who's that other guitar? But top jazz guy.
McLaughlin,
Yeah, yeah,
insane.
that was badass. I was listening to that today.
This guy is insane. John McLaughlin, oh my god, like big hero, man. And but I have some friends in France that know him because he loves France, he loves good food, so he has a house over there. And so my friend was talking to me and he's like, John, he has these guitars at home, but he never talks about music. Never talks about music. He only talks about life, and he's never seen practice. Yeah, the guy is God.
Yeah.
Nice.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to check that out.
Yeah,
He's brilliant. He did some brilliant work with Shakti. You should listen to some crazy stuff. Shakti,
Yeah.
like fusion, Indian fusion stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I
Nice.
saw him last year.
Oh my
and it
God.
was-
Yeah, dude, Durden is saying that you can just like, dude, his touch is so soft, and he's just getting, you know, these sounds
Right.
that are, you know,
Yeah.
unbelievable.
Mm.
And you know, because Fred only listens to heavy metal, so it's good to see that you guys have branched out and you know you listen to other music.
It's actually
Because it says it right here. It says metalhead. That's why.
it's really funny because the four of us, we're very different stylistic wise in what we listen to as well, right?
Right.
So it's kind of cool because when we put music in the bus, you know, when we talk about stuff,
Right.
it's always different things that come up. It's so nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Dario, you started out as classical, correct? And then you switched to metal. So
I started, as I said before, when I was 9 years old. I already was a fan of metal music, rock music, because at the time, I'm talking about '87, because I'm old. I'm 45. So at the time, metal was huge in Italy, in Europe, especially bands like Halloween, Maiden,
Oh yeah.
Judas Priest, and
Right.
so I started studying classical guitar, but I had this passion for music, and then I studied in different schools in Italy, and I specialized in electric guitar.
Nice.
And at the beginning, it was mainly metal, but then I fell in love with the classics, so I went back to nowadays. I'm a lot into the music of the '60s and the '70s, progressive stuff, you know, and also classic bands like The Who. So
Right. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's so much great stuff out there from all, you know.
Oh yeah, it's
Yeah, absolutely.
how can you listen to it all? You
I
know.
have a huge collection of British progressive music of the '70s in my house.
Oh yeah.
But I asked the other guys also for new stuff, because Amuri is a lot into progressive, and he knows a lot of modern bands. So I asked
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like, you know, with us doing this show, you know, Vince and I are in our 50s, and you know, we get turned on to a lot of stuff we normally wouldn't know about, you know, through, you know, even just fans in the comments on some of these, like, you know, we have a reaction show that we do as well, you know, where we play videos and stuff, and they've turned us on to a lot of Japanese bands and things like that. So it's been great, you know.
Oh my God, you guys need to check out Bandmade. Holy crap!
Really?
Oh my
Oh
God,
yeah. It's
kick you
a
right in the teeth.
Japanese women, but what yeah, great musicians though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Japanese band you guys need to check out: Room and Koenji Ake. Those guys, it's like avant-garde, weird jazz, crazy stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's super nice. Japanese, they've been ahead, you know.
Oh
They've
yeah.
been fans of progressive music for so long, and they just push through, you know. It's it's pretty nice.
Yeah, you know, because it's funny, like doing the search for this music, because we were like, you know, you started hearing that thing, rock's dead, and Gene Simmons, rock and roll's dead, and like all this stuff, and you know, you start to believe it because, well, at our age, you don't hear anything. It's not like they're playing it on the radio.
Right.
There's so much. The great thing about the internet is everyone can put their music out. The worst thing about the internet is everyone can put their music out. So you really have to sift.
Yeah.
And search to find, you know, and I'm the first to admit I was totally wrong. We found a bunch of amazing bands, you know, Wings of Steel out of Sweden and United States, amazing.
Yeah.
You know, other band, just, you know, it's good to see that it's out there, because it would really be a sad day when guitar music just isn't around.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's actually resurging again.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's been like what? We're in 2023. I believe like around 2012. Bandcamp was starting to be a thing, and there was all this wave of what we call bedroom guitar player.
Yeah.
You would have like an Axe-Fx and just record on the laptop, produce a lot of stuff. Pliny, David Maximici, the guys in Periphery, and all those guys. Polyphia is huge now. All those guys are just making videos on YouTube in their bedrooms, right?
Oh yeah.
And those guys now, they're headlining their own tours.
Yeah.
They all built like a good financial business for themselves. You know?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, we've had a few of them on, you know, as guests and stuff, and it's just if there's a will, there's a way, and now there's tons of different ways. And if you have stage fright to the point where it cripples you, you can still put your music out, and at least if you're okay with the camera, you can have an audience. You know what I mean?
Totally. Yeah.
And it's a weird thing because people, it always amazes me when some of the greatest performers say, "I have crippling stage fright."
Yeah.
You're like, no way. Like, how does Barbara Streisand think she sucks? You know what I mean? Or whatever. It just always amazes me. And I'm like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that stops a lot of people,
It does, yeah. But then it comes with practice as well.
Right.
You gotta push through.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember probably even Stevie Vai at this.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
he was young and playing with Zappa.
With that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Name is Stevie Vai.
Speaking of that,
Yeah.
one of my favorite stories that Vi told was when he first started working with Zappa. He flew to California and they were in rehearsal, and he said that Zappa told him his tone was like an electric ham sandwich.
Yeah.
That's such a great story,
Yeah,
So
Jim
he went on to search for different gear after that,
Yeah, another performer, Jim Morrison. He
Wow.
had massive stage fright, and for the first 10 or 15 shows, he played the complete show with his back to the crowd.
Oh, wow.
There you go.
And you know what's even more bizarre? The Doors only played 100 shows.
Is that right?
Right?
That's it?
Yeah.
No way.
Talk about mythology and you know what I mean? Like, I thought it was no, because everyone grew up Morrison and the Doors are bigger than
Right.
life,
Right.
And you're like, only 100 shows?
Wow.
That's crazy.
That's even a bigger impact,
Yeah.
Of course.
Very
successful even at the beginning of their career. But
Yeah.
probably, the music industry was different, so they made a lot of money out of records.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. And nowadays, the opposite.
Yeah, nobody makes money on albums anymore, right?
No.
Just streaming companies do,
I mean, to be fair, you make money of albums that you sell at your own shows.
Yeah.
Like you make, especially if you release them as an independent artist, you're gonna make a bunch of money selling them over there. But how many shows are you gonna need to sell? I don't know, 100,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing that people don't think they should pay for music anymore,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, when I go to the restaurant, I don't pay for my food, So
Right.
that's it.
Yeah. You can run a half mile and nothing flat, too. Yeah, it's amazing. It's like, oh, hey, can I come to your I was always being a creative guy, and people are like, oh, you can do it for hey, let me take half your month and just base get the awesomeness of you helping me for free.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great exposure. That was the old thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I got your exposure.
Come cook for my wedding for your exposure. There's 350 people there,
Yeah.
One of my buddies was a classic pianist, and he was fantastic. And he was in a band that got signed. What was it called? I can't even remember at the time. Anyways, back in the 80s, and he would get hired by these swanky country clubs because we live, close to the richest part of America, but it ain't us. You know what I mean? So he would get hired to do these things, and he would get his tuxedo on and everything with his tails, and he would be playing Iron Maiden, Merciful Fate,
Nice.
like all this on the piano, and no one knew, and everyone's like, just, oh my god, you're so amazing. They had no clue, and he's just practicing for his gig because he was a keyboardist, so he's but touring these days has to be, I mean, just in the time that you said you're 45, just in the time that you've been around doing it, how have you seen it changed? The other guys, it's probably just as it's going on now.
When I started in a different. It was a different environment because I've always been mainly a rock guitar player, but when I started a career as a, so to speak, a session musician, I was involved with pop artists in Italy, so it was slightly different. because we all mainly play the open air shows during the summertime. Big,
Mm-hmm.
squares, and it was a different environment. So I don't know how was the metal scene before because I already was into the metal scene, but mainly with my band that was the opening act. So I don't know how it used to be like, for example, at the end of the 90s.
Right.
Yeah.
I was too young to even this.
Yeah. I just don't understand how young bands now that play originals, how they can even. I mean, it's almost next to impossible to get a show where they can play their own music.
Yes, it was like Amaury was saying before. Probably everything is just different as
Right.
changed, and social medias they're so much important nowadays.
There is this great band from New Jersey called the Contortionist.
Okay.
The guitar player, one of the guitar player and the drummer, they are twins, twin brothers. And when I was studying at Berkeley, I wanted to be on the road, to play my own music, do all those stuff. So I took all the bands I used to listen to, and I actually kind of analyzed, how they were doing it. There was this website called Bands in Town where you could put all of your shows. So I looked at all the
Yeah.
venues they would play, etc. So those guys, and that's quite fun because Periphery, they did the same thing actually. All of those guys lived at their parents' house until they were 25, 26. But they
Right.
started playing with their band when they were like 17, 18. And at some point, they were playing 250 shows a year.
Oh
Like
wow.
shitty bars, shitty clubs, like super small stuff, not getting paid. But they were playing constantly because
Yeah.
they had the financial support of their parents.
Yeah.
Right.
And next thing you know, there's some bands that kind of pop out because it's a new genre, it's a modern take on progressive metal or stuff
Yeah.
like that. And they started building things together, right? So this band from New Jersey, they would play with this band from Chicago, for example, or DC, and they would go on a 2 little week tour, and just do that a lot. And they all took around 8, 10, 12 years to actually
Wow.
be sustainable.
Yeah.
And that was like 2015 to now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And maybe we
Well, the theater you guys played at the other night when I saw you, the Arcade in St. Charles, I've seen shows there before where they'll have a band opening that I've never heard of.
yeah.
And I don't know what the deal is if they do it for free with the thought that you can sell your merch out there and sell some CDs and some merchandise and get out there, but they might do it for free just to get out there. And now
Yeah.
you're in front of 500 or 600 people, and that's a pretty good showing for a band that has no exposure. And you're selling a few CDs and maybe spreading the word. We've had actually a couple of the bands on our interviews. Well, we said they're really good. Let's give them some exposure. So that's one way.
Yeah,
That's one way.
The thing is, it's kind of weird because there's a lot of bands that do what we call buy-on tours. So as an opening band, you're gonna actually approach them and be like, "Hey, I want to buy on to your tour." So you're gonna spend money to play in front of their crowds, which makes sense. They paved the way, all the work, but you're gonna spend like 12 grand, 15 grand opening up for a band that you enjoy and you think that you're gonna get some fans out of it, right? You're not getting paid for it, but it's really weird. I think it's a weird thing nowadays to get the ball rolling. Once the ball is rolling, it just kind of snowballs probably, right?
That's it. About to invest a good bunch. Well, like I said, at the end of doing the buy-on tour, like Amory was saying, the most important thing to have then is to have just really good merchandise. And that's one thing myself and Mark learned actually. We just recently made these new bracelets that from our used guitar strings. Those guys,
Nice.
you can see them right there, but this one right here.
It's guitar strings.
Oh, yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Nice.
Kelly bought a couple of those.
Yeah, yeah. So again, usually I change my guitar strings every 2, maybe 3 days, and instead of me just chucking them away, we bundle them all up and send them to a girl in Colorado, and then she turns them into jewelry, and they have just been like it's just such a unique kind of piece of merchandise, and
Nice.
it helps us kind of
That's pretty cool.
well, yeah.
So
Awesome.
we found out that Amuri both want to support James.
Exactly. It's very nice. It looks super good. It's it's good quality. It's nice, and like I've been involved with Mark. He's a friend of mine since I started working for Geoff. So it's been like 3 years. So I asked him questions about the business because I need to learn. Yeah, here you go. And
there you go.
There they are.
so they ordered a batch, and they thought it would do the whole tour. And they were sold out on the bracelets in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. They had to order more and more and more, right?
Right.
Love it.
Yeah, that's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
It's very nice. Yeah.
But I think that's very important for bands starting off, especially an opening band, to have some sort of kind of merch idea.
Yeah.
Something that like that's not just a T-shirt, not just a CD, or not just like
Right.
It's literally part of the band.
Yeah,
in fact. Yeah.
Anyway, there's also another thing that we should consider, that when Geoff started out with Queensrÿche, rock music, metal music, progressive music was the music of the time.
Yeah.
One of the music of the time, and so we don't have to consider those numbers. We cannot consider Queensrÿche, Metallica, Maiden,
Right.
And now the pop music is more the music of our times, and also hip hop,
R&B,
rap.
Yeah.
So if we, for example, take Pliny, the numbers are different. So
Right.
it doesn't mean that he's successful in what he does.
He's actually so successful.
So successful.
His business model is insane.
Yeah.
He just booked a 200 show world tour all by himself. He's fully independent. He hires only his friends, who's been with him for like 7+ years,
Yeah.
Just so successful. It's funny because when we were on tour in Europe, I don't remember which month.
in March.
March, yeah. We had a week off in Krakow, in Poland.
Mhm.
The night we got to Krakow, Pliny was playing the same venue we would be playing a week later. So Killian, James, and I went there.
No, I couldn't. I tried to buy
Oh,
tickets.
sorry,
I tried to buy.
I'm
Yeah,
so sorry.
I tried
Yes.
to buy tickets on the plane.
I bought the last one.
He got the last one. I was like,
It was amazing, because it's just a bunch of younger dudes, just playing themselves. And
Absolutely.
the show was packed. It was sold out. Very good.
Yeah.
Amazing.
He's amazing. I've got his plug-in through Neural DSP. Yeah. I saw Rabia when it came out. He was demonstrating, and I bought it right away.
Yeah. I mean, all of those plugins are so good. Actually, we're slowly transitioning to getting quad cortexes on stage.
Oh, right.
I took the bunch of Quad Cortex.
Yeah.
Thank God, it's just sound good. It's just amazing.
It's great, right? Yeah.
They're just in the box.
Yeah.
It's convenient. Yeah, Jack, our bass player, has one as well, and I'm so jealous. I want to get one.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to have it.
That stuff's getting so good. I just bought the Tonex pedal. I'm messing with it
I
right
also
now.
got that one as well, actually.
Yeah.
It's pretty good too.
So, but yeah, that stuff. I mean, the technology's becoming amazing.
Yeah.
Means we don't wheel around 4x12 Marshall tabs.
Right. Yeah, and especially for you guys that are working. I mean, just to, or even having to, rely on really crappy backline, rental stuff, when you go. So, yeah, it's really getting good. So
It's the best way to do it, and it's very cool because on this tour, James brought an acoustic guitar, right? CDT, a couple of other songs. So he just has it plugged in the quad cortex as well, at the same time as his electric. You can switch back and forth. You can plug 4 instruments in that thing. It's nuts.
Right.
And then it just lives on a stand. It's brought out. I just play it, and whenever I don't need it, back to the electric then.
nice.
Great.
Convenient, yeah.
Yep.
And you show up, you have a couple of pedal boards, and you can make a show. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Compared to the old days when you had, racks and racks and racks in rolling cases, and now it's I've got the entire history of music right here.
Facts.
And so, what are you guys playing on stage? What kind of guitars are you playing on stage?
Oh wow.
So I play Charvel guitars. I have a Pro Mod DK24, so 2.1. Got this since 2020, and it's my baby.
Yeah.
That's my main guitar. I have a B guitar, which is just like another Charvel, just like a SoCal with Floyd Rhodes, just in case I need to do something in the morning.
Yeah.
And I also play a Fender Telecaster as well, which I just bought a few weeks ago. But that's mainly for with Mark Daly. It's not for Geoff. Yeah,
Gotcha.
it doesn't have the same sort of the right tone.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, the right tool for the right job, you know.
What do you play, Dario?
Oh, it's my main axe is a custom-made guitar. It's a mix of two different ESP LTD. And I think that the secret to the sound when it comes to bring sort of music to Geoff's music is the single Duncan JB with a maple neck
Yeah.
to cut through the mix.
Mm-hmm.
That's for me.
Nice.
Mainly, yes, ESP LTD guitars. Yeah.
I play Ibanez. I've been endorsed by Ibanez since I'm like 16.
Oh, nice.
For like 12 years now. So I just put a bunch of guitars. I kind of swap back and forth. Right now, I got one that has Fishman. It's like those new Strat models, the AZs.
Yeah.
With Fishman pickups on it. It's brilliant. Looks good. Sounds great.
Yeah.
It's kind of heavy, but I like it because it's very nice. I brought a 7-string as a backup on this tour. I don't know why I've done that because I'm not using it, you know. I want to play streaming in digital with the 7-string to just make it super heavy. And Geoff during rehearsal was just like, how can you make it heavier than this? I don't think all right, you know what? I'm going to save money on the packs, you know, I guess.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm actually, because we're doing Mindcrime in November, I'm going to bring the old RG Prestige I have.
Okay.
That's super sleek. It's like brown and black flame maple top. So that's going to be sexy. I'm going to take that on the road. But yeah, Ibanez, Japan. You know,
great guitars.
An old Fender I had that I've like gutted like 5 or 6 times. I had it for years. I didn't really like it. I nearly bought a Gibson Les Paul for it. I want to trade it, and they wouldn't give me a good price. And I was like, okay, but I was like, I'm going to throw it away. Then during the pandemic, I had nothing else to do except buy pedals and pickups and electronics. So like every week I'd go up to my shed and just throw new stuff in it. So the only thing that's left that's original is the neck and the body. All the electronics are different.
Yeah.
The bridge, it's all just exactly what I'm looking for. I'm using bare knuckle pickups. They're insane.
Oh yeah, bare knuckles are killer.
Long tread, just so much fun. And because I did it myself, it's like, you know, it's mine. Like I pick up, we were in Guitar Center yesterday. This is my first time in America, so it was my first time being in Guitar Center, and I was like, oh wow. I'm picking up the off-the-shelf Fenders. I was like, nice, cool, but the neck that I've sanded down myself, that's the one for me. So I'm out without a guitar, thankfully. You know?
Absolutely.
But I have the other Fender guitars, I'm like, this is my, yeah, it's great, I love it.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay, so when does this part of the tour wind down for you guys before does it go all the way till
October 13th.
Yeah.
We finish up in Seattle in Washington.
Okay.
Oh, right on.
So we are less than 2 weeks left.
Less than 2 weeks, like a week and a half.
Yeah.
2 weeks, you're
Yeah,
right.
you guys finish up in Geoff's hometown of Everett, Washington.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
So you finish up and then you head out back to Europe, right?
Yep.
Ain't no
You're
rest.
always on the road. I don't know how you get that bus to Europe, but it's going to be a fun ride.
Absolutely. Well, I know you guys are short on time and everything, and we so appreciate you taking the time out between sound check. And I hope you didn't miss your dinner or delay it, because I know how important that is when you're on the road. And just want to thank you guys, really, man. You couldn't have been nicer. And what a band that you guys are. And
thank you so much, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much, guys.
Music that's ever been written and definitely sang on stage. And we're all huge fans. So thank you guys very much. We very much appreciate it. All
Thanks,
right, now
guys.
say hi to Geoff if you would.
Oh, we
Yeah, of
do.
course we do.
Okay. Right on, guys. Thank you.
Thank
Take
you,
care,
guys.
guys.
Take care. All right. So that was Geoff Tate's backing band. Couldn't have been cooler for sure.
Oh yeah, great guys.
They're awesome
Absolutely.
guys, ain't they? Awesome.
Oh, great. Yeah, I didn't want to take them too much longer just
Sure,
because
yeah.
they're,
They got a show tonight, and that's cool, Vince. But
Yeah.
they're amazing guys. They're nice. They're genuine. They're down to earth.
absolutely. And maybe next time we can get Geoff on. That would be nice.
I'm gonna
That'd be
work
very
on
cool.
that for you.
But
That's gonna be my Christmas present to you, Geoff.
baby steps, baby steps. Mark
Yeah.
Daly was like, "Yeah, I'll have a couple pints to them," and tell him like, "No, I don't want you to do that." Like, I appreciate some things you got to earn. So
Right.
Yeah.
anyway, but I'm Vince. That's Jason. That's Metalhead Fred, and this has been another edition of CreatiVity Talkin. We'll see you next time. Horns up, gentlemen.